president putting his own very short-term political interests over the broad health and safety of the American people. Just yesterday, the president's director of the CDC warned of a second wave of the coronavirus later this year, when also flu season would make it a much harder to fight. A totally uncontroversial, scientifically grounded statement. But not for the president. In his nightly propaganda festival in the briefing room a short time ago, Trump prompted his CDC director to say he was misquoted about the possibility of the virus reflaring. And then standing next to the president, the CDC director confirmed under questioning he was not misquoted and basically reiterated his previous point. We're months into this pandemic and the behavior is not new. I mean, the president has been doing this from the very beginning of the outbreak. 2 months ago, seems like another lifetime, Dr. Nancy Messonnier, another unknown public health expert, just like Dr. Bright, a serious career government official, works in the CDC, she warned us what was in our future.
Ultimately, we expect we will see community spread in this country. It's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen and how many people in this country will have severe illness. I understand this whole situation may seem overwhelming and that disruption to everyday life may be severe, but these are things that people need to start thinking about now. I had a conversation with my family over breakfast this morning, and I told my children that while I didn't think that they were at risk right now, we as a family need to be preparing for significant disruption of our lives.
Significant disruption of our lives. That was on February 25th, almost 2 months ago, another lifetime ago. And looking back, she absolutely nailed it. She knew exactly what was going to happen. She's a person in the government whose job is to do that. Well, today, the Wall Street Journal reports the president was so furious when he found out about her briefing, he wanted to get rid of her. Quote, a furious Mr. Trump, flying back to Washington from India, called Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar and threatened to oust Dr. Messonnier for the sin of correctly predicting the future. Now, President Trump could have listened to his own health expert and acted quickly, but he did not. According to the New York Times, if he had acted quickly, that could have saved tens of thousands of American lives. Yes, that's the number. An estimated 90% of the cumulative deaths in this country from COVID-19 might have been prevented by putting social distancing policies into effect 2 weeks earlier. 2 weeks. But no, instead, he didn't like the news cycle and the stock market, so Dr. Messonnier was benched. And literally the next day, the president said this about coronavirus cases in the U.S. We're going very substantially down, not up. Within a couple days, it is going to be down to close to zero. We're going to hit 1 million at some time the next